Okay, this week's show started with the recap of the Proving Ground match between the Briscoe brothers and Caprice Cole and Cedric Alexander, where Wrestling's Greatest Tag Team come out from the backstage area, and then they kicked Jay Briscoe in the yam bag, which made the Cole and Alexander win the match, and they will get a future World Tag Team title shot. And then the real show kicked off this week with Tommaso Ciampa and the Embassy Limited going up against Matt Taven. This is actually a really good match. I mean, it didn't start out that way, because when Taven was coming in the ring, he had his back turned to Ciampa, and Ciampa gave him a dragon suplex right at the get-go. So you were probably thinking to yourself, "Boy, this match is going to end early," because he had taken his knee pad down, and he was going to do those running knee strikes, but Taven managed to get out of the way, and later on in the match, well, there's a good back and forth sequence. There were many near falls, and Jay Lethal came out the ringside and he sat down. Kevin Kelly said you could see Jay Lethal sitting down. It's like, no, you couldn't, because by the time you said it, Jay Lethal was out of camera range. You jackass! What the hell are you thinking? But anyway, this was probably the best match of the card this week, and it's the second time in a row that Matt Taven has had a really good match on television. And if you remember a few weeks ago, that match that he had against Mike Mondo, that was probably the best match on the card for like a mid-card match. But Ciampa did a good job of making Taven look good, and he eventually did get the win to Project Ciampa. And he made his little symbol at Jay Lethal, all in the process, and they had a war of words at the end of the match. But all in all, it was a really good match, I thought. And then next, you had a backstage segment with Beta Scott talking to Technical Lightning T.J. Perkins. Well, I think technically he doesn't have any personality, but he talked a little bit, and then he had the Young Bucks come up and giving him shit, and it's like, I mean, say what you want about the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson, but there's one thing that they have that T.J. Perkins did not have, and that's a personality. And this would lead into the second match of the night between No Fear Mike Mondo against Technical Lightning T.J. Perkins. Oh, at the beginning of the match, you had dueling chants between Perkins and Mondo. Then later on in the match, Nick and Matt Jackson would come to the ring. It's like, Nigel McGuinness won. The freaking superstars. No, it's not the freaking superstars. It's the freaking rock stars. Oh, there's your one botch for the night. Hermie had one too. But anyway, Mondo ended up winning the match thanks to the interference of the Young Bucks. And he got one with his Mick Foley double arm DDT out of the ropes. And Mondo got the win. Then at the end of the match, Mondo and the Young Bucks were starting to give Perkins the business, which brought out the All Night Express, Rhett Titus and Kenny King, and they cleared the ring. Really, this match is more about furthering the feud with the All Night Express and the Young Bucks, so it did a good job in that regard. But the match was decent. It wasn't really anything to write home about, but it was decent. Okay, then next you had the Inside ROH segment where Kevin Kelly's talking about the Border Wars pay-per-view, which is this coming Saturday night from the Ted Reeve Arena in Toronto, Canada. You have promos from both Wrestling's Greatest Tag Team and the Briscoe brothers talking about their fight without honor match for the ROH World Tag Team titles. They say it's going to be the last match they're going to have, so obviously it should be a good one, you would think. Then you had promos from all three members of the House of Truth, including the newest member, Rhino. ROH TV Championship is on the line with Roderick Strong against the debuting Fit Finlay. Then you also got the Unbreakable Michael Elgin going up against Adam Cole in a battle of the Breakout Star of 2012 against the another up-and-comer in Adam Cole. And then you got the match with the Man Beast Rhino against Die Hard Eddie Edwards. And then you got a video from Edwards himself. He talked about the match with coming up with Rhino. As you can tell, I'm not going into so much detail. I figure if you've watched the show, you know what the promos were. And Kevin Kelly also talked about Fit Finlay and what kind of a career he's had. He's putting him over as one of the greatest wrestlers to come from the UK. Oh, he's actually from Ireland, but anyway. And then you have a promo from Mike Bennett, along with Maria, talking about his match, the Showdown Sun rematch against Lance Storm, which may or may not be Lance Storm's final match in Ring of Honor, but that's about all he talked about there. So, okay, it's main event time, but first there's an interview backstage with Kyle O'Reilly talking to Veda Scott about his match coming up with Kevin Steen. He basically says he's an out-of-shape athlete and he's going to expose him for the fraud that he is. Well, it was a pretty nice heel promo, but considering he is supposed to be a heel, I believe. Well, I personally don't like Kyle O'Reilly, so I think he's an arrogant prick myself, but that's just my own opinion. But anyway, we lead into the main event itself. Wrestling's worst nightmare, Kevin Steen, along with Jimmy Jacobs in his corner, against Kyle O'Reilly. Kevin Steen was solidly backed by the fans in this match, whereas O'Reilly was booed in this match. Steve Corino joined Kevin Kelly and Nigel McGuinness on commentary for this match. There's an icky part in this match where O'Reilly's mouthpiece flies out of his mouth and Steen ends up putting it in his mouth. It's like, ugh. Yes, that is probably part of Steen's character. I mean, he does go for the shock value, but ugh. I don't know what he got paid to do that, but it probably wasn't enough. But anyway, the match. The end of the match came where Jacobs he kind of gave a slight distraction to O'Reilly, and Steen caught him with the F-Sync for the 1-2-3, and Steen is your winner. But that's not all, because Steen and Jacobs attacked O'Reilly after the match with the ankle lock, which Davey Richards does use, but he kept him in that for a little bit, and then Richards come down to make the save, but then he gets low blowed by Jacobs after putting Steen into the ankle lock, and then finally when he got out of that, he gave Richards 3 shots with the Jim Cornette tennis racket, and it was pretty much utter chaos in the ring. There's security everywhere. Then Steen gets out of the ring, and then they were holding O'Reilly back, and he takes a shot to the head with the tennis racket, and that's about it for that. And then they went to commercial, and then Richards grabs the mic and talking about how he's gonna kick Steen's ass at Border Wars, but first, the crowd was chanting "shut up" before he even said a word. So what does that tell you about how they're feeling about Davey Richards in this feud with Kevin Steen? It's like Davey Richards is gonna be like John Cena most nights in WWE, except for maybe lately when now that he's going up against John Laurinaitis at the Over the Limit pay-per-view, but it's going to be about the same thing. Okay, final thoughts on the show. I thought Matt Taven had the match of the night along with Tommaso Ciampa. Second time in a row that he has had the best match on the show when he's appeared. I think Taven should get some sort of a push. I think he's got a lot of things going for him. The Mondo Perkins match was decent, but really it just they pretty much used that match to set up the Young Bucks and All Night Express, furthering that feud. Then I think the Ciampa Lethal match will be halfway decent at Border Wars. And then with the Kevin Steen O'Reilly match, which set up more things going on with him and Davey Richards and that. And I think, it's like I've said, I think Steen needs to walk out of Toronto, Canada with the ROH World Title, and hopefully that'll happen. Subscribe up above if you haven't already, and leave your comments down below. And give me the big thumbs up. This is Marvelous Mark signing off for now. Goodbye.